Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Wirbick, Certified Financial Planner.
And I'm Doug Harding. Want to welcome everybody to Retirement, Everything They Never Told You. And Joe, we've got a New Year's show because, of course, it is the brand new year and how we need to be prepared. I know it. Didn't 2025 go by so fast?
Didn't 23 and 24 and 20, didn't the last decade just kind of...
I know. I remember turning 40 and here we are years later. But, do you ever do New Year's resolutions at all?
I used to do those when I was, and I hate to say this because this is going to come off, when I was not in good shape and when I didn't eat right and when I didn't do all the things I was supposed to do, then I used New Year's resolutions as an excuse to try to convince myself that I should be a better person and take care of myself. I don't want to make it sound like that, but now that I've developed really good habits and I eat properly and I work out every day and I just don't do them as much. But you know what? I probably should, to focus more on being a better person.
Okay.
I think that would be a good one. And I'm a huge believer, Doug, in setting goals.
Okay.
I believe that, you say you want to do something, it's not going to happen. You write it down and you speak it to other people, it'll much more likely happen.
Joe, I know.
So I like that idea.
I know one big goal of yours, but it's not financial related. It's traveling the world. And it's great talking to you about this off camera, off mic. But you travel all around the world and you just recently did a whole lot of trips too.
I just got back. Yeah, we did Nepal, Bhutan, and then the Maldives. Now, just to put it out there, we use points for a lot of our travel.
Okay.
So, and I'm not going to get into how to do that. There are so many videos out there that you can, if you're a disciplined spender, you can use credit cards to get points and pay the credit cards off and then use those points. So most of my travel is free.
Oh,
which is awesome. Yeah. But yeah, went to Nepal. Nepal was an interesting country. To see the Himalayas, to see Mount Everest, Doug, that was incredible. Just to see the highest point on the planet. It's something. It really does speak to you. And just for fun, in Nepal, they're mostly Hindu and they believe in cremation within 24 hours of death.
Okay.
And so they do it right in the center of the city, right out in the open.
Oh, wow.
24/7, 365, their crematorium is going. And it's just right along the river. They have these platforms set up along the river and they're just burning their dead.
Jeez.
And on our guide, they took us on one of our trips, they took us there, which it's kind of smoky. They make these massive wooden pyres and they burn their dead and then they sweep the ashes into the river. And that's their belief that's how they become one with the universe. I don't fully understand it, but I didn't feel comfortable breathing in dead people.
No, it almost sounds like a Viking funeral.
It kind of is. But we got the water, you got the wood, you got the fire. It's just more stationary.
Okay, instead of the boat.
Yeah, and central to the city. So you got a city with millions and millions of people, and so you got to imagine people are dying pretty quickly when you got millions and millions of people. So this thing just runs constantly. It's pretty crazy. But that was Nepal. Then we went to Bhutan. Beautiful, beautiful place. If you ever have a chance to go, the Kingdom of Bhutan, they're a monarchy. I think there's about 300,000 citizens, just a really happy people, a beautiful hiking, and hiked the Tiger's Nest. Probably in my years of travel, probably the most beautiful hike I've ever done. Again, just spectacularly gorgeous. This monastery up 3,000 feet up in this mountain on the side of a cliff, just breathtakingly beautiful. Built in the 1600s, just an amazing, amazing place. So a lot of hiking, a lot of, physical activity in Bhutan. And then we relaxed in the Maldives.
That place is beautiful. You know, I was supposed to go to the Maldives 5 years ago, had the trip all set up, but what happened? COVID happened, so I had to cancel that trip, and I was looking really forward to it. So now I have to live through you on this trip.
Well, I'll say this. I've been to the Maldives. I've been to Fiji. I've been to Bora Bora. I've been to the Caribbean. And the Caribbean's just as nice.
Oh,
it is.
Closer.
It is. It's for anybody on the East Coast, it's a 3-hour flight versus a 30-hour trip. Because it's about 30 hours to get there and 30 hours to get back. Or I can just hop on a plane and within 3 hours, the same day, I can be in a beautiful island. So I would say, unless you're over there, I wouldn't spend the money. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. It's beautiful, but there's nothing there. And I didn't realize this, and maybe you know this, Doug. I mean, I knew going into it that the country of the Maldives is a Muslim country.
Yes.
So we come from Bhutan, which is a Buddhist country, and we're in the airport in the Maldives, and I pull my bag off the luggage carousel, and I have a big red tag on it.
Right.
And it says something to the effect of extra security. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. You know, I don't smuggle anything. I'm not worried about this. So I go to the extra security, and the young lady in her burqa, she's like, please open this up. We open it up. She's going through it, and she pulls out a pair of cymbals. You know what I mean by cymbals? Like the musical instruments you bang together, like meditation and, you know, become one with the universe. On the cymbal, which the cymbal was about, you know, maybe this big. Mm-hmm. On the cymbal, about a 1/4 inch high, maybe this, not even, you know, not nowhere near the size of a dime. I'd say if you shrunk a dime down to half its size, there's an outline of the Buddha. And I mean an outline. I mean, if I looked at that, I would have thought it was a smudge on the symbol.
Okay.
But it was the outline of a Buddha. And it turns out they don't like that in Muslim countries.
Really?
So they confiscated my symbols.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going, I said, I'm not Buddhist. I just bought a pair of cymbals. But they were that concerned about. I didn't know. So just a heads up, if you go to a Muslim country, don't have any Buddhist looking symbols, 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 not symbols, CYMB. Yeah, you know,
gotcha.
Sorry.
Symbol on the symbols.
A symbol on the symbol, yeah. So I learned, you know, because I've had my Buddhist paraphernalia confiscated in the Maldives. I had a pair of binoculars confiscated in Ethiopia.
Why?
They say that it can be used for military purposes.
Okay.
I don't fully understand it. So so no Buddhist paraphernalia in the Muslim countries, no binoculars in Ethiopia, and I learned this one: no chewing gum in Singapore.
I've heard that before. Yes.
Yeah. You are not allowed. We met a couple in Bhutan. She was American, he was German, but they lived in Singapore. Mm-hmm. And they told us about how strict you cannot chew gum anywhere in the country. They don't sell gum in the country. You can't buy gum in the country, and you can't import gum into the country.
Wow.
And I am saying gum, G-U-M.
Yeah.
Chewing gum.
Not G-U-N.
No. So the Maldives, so beautiful place. Don't bother spending the 30 hours to get there. But we had one of those over-the-water villas. Mm. And I like to swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
And they tell us, they send us a little, they use WhatsApp. Do you use WhatsApp?
I do, because I have...
oh, you do? Okay.
I have family members that live in the Middle East, so that's how I connect with them, is through WhatsApp.
It's amazing. I think everybody in the world but Americans use WhatsApp.
I think so.
Yeah, because every time I go overseas, they say, oh, let me get you on WhatsApp. So every day our butler would send us information on WhatsApp. And so they send us a little map showing that the tide was strong and we probably should avoid swimming in the ocean. Oh. But I'm a guy. You know where this is going.
I know exactly.
So I saw something in the water. I'm like, hey, I'm going to dive in and check this out. So I dive in and and I start swimming. And next thing I know, I'm about 200 feet away from the villa.
Ooh, that's some serious
And
riptide.
I'm like, oh, well, this is good. So I turn around, and I start swimming, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm stuck.
Ooh.
And I know about riptides, and I try swimming left. I try swimming. Nothing's working. I mean, this isn't a riptide. This is a tide. Like, this is the entire side of the island is the water's moving.
Whew.
So I pretty quickly run out of gas. I mean, I'm done. I mean, energy wise, I still had energy, but I couldn't breathe,
Ooh.
you know? And so I'm signaling to my wife, Christine, I'm like, hey, I need help. You know, there's some flotation devices there. Do you mind getting one out to me? And so she gets on her raft. Or I say raft, it's this little ring float. It's not, and she grabs mine and she comes out and she rescues me. So thank goodness she got me in time, clearly, because I'm still here.
Yeah.
But she said the terror in my eyes, she said she's never seen me so scared in my life. And it was frightening.
I bet it was. And now you're going to be listening to the locals more than you ever have before. So you don't have to be in that situation again.
But we weren't done.
Oh.
So she comes out, and then I try to swim us both back.
Oh, no.
It's not happening. So for 40 minutes, I tried to get us back to our villa, and we don't go anywhere. We're stuck. And we're slowly drifting further and further out. And so now I'm like, oh, great. So before I could have just taken myself out, now I got my wife's life in my hands as well. So I did the responsible thing. You know, I swallowed my pride and I started shouting for help. I was like, hey, this isn't help, and we're not going anywhere. I'm going to eventually run out of gas. I won't be able to try to swim anymore on this, even though I'm in a raft. And so got somebody's attention. They were like, you okay? And we're like, no. And they're like, you're fine. We're like, no, we're not fine. You know, we're a few hundred feet out in the water, so it's hard to communicate, you know, that way. And so after about 5 or 10 minutes, these two lifeguards way over on the one shore jump into the water. And I'm like,
uh-oh,
what are you guys going to do? And when they get to us, when they finally swim out to us, they're completely gassed. And they're holding onto our rafts. So now I have 4 people I may kill. So before it was me, then it was my wife and I. Now there's 4 of us out there in this tide. And I'm like, guys, why did you jump in? I was asking for a boat. Get us a boat. Don't jump into the water. And I look at these guys, and they each weigh about 100 pounds wet.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, I'm over 200 pounds. You guys are never going to be able to swim yourself back, let alone grab a hold of me and swim me back. So eventually, a boat came out and rescued us. But I learned my lesson. Don't just dive into the water and hope that you know what you're doing, because quickly life can end and you can make a mistake and it can be over, you know? So make sure that you're prepared. I mean, make sure that you've done the proper planning. You know, I was going through my head. I was like, okay, my life insurance is in place. So everybody will be okay. And I got the buy-sell agreement. So Sequinox will be okay. That'll be fine. You know, I've seen the world. You know, I'm 50, but hey, if I have to go out at 50, I've lived my life. I have no regrets. But I tell you, it's pretty frightening.
Yeah, I bet you have a whole new outlook on life right now, especially, you know, the next time you go traveling, listen to the locals.
Listen to the locals. And when we got back to the villa, I have never been that exhausted in my life. Never been that just completely drained. Because, you know, you're swimming, you know, you're using every muscle in your body. And it was almost 45 minutes that we were in the water. And I was just done completely and shaking and, you know, the whole thing. So overall fun trip, but I don't need to go back to the Maldives.
All right. We'll plan on a trip to the Caribbean next time you want to go to the beach and an exotic vacation somewhere.
Yes. Highly recommended. But hey, it's the end of the year. You know, stock markets had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of this.
I have.
If you've been looking at the numbers. I mean, now we still have today. So, but looking at year to date, the Dow Jones looks like it's going to finish around 14%. We got the S&P at about 17% and the NASDAQ at about 21%.
Okay.
That's a good year. And what I find interesting, I don't know if you remember this, our show a few weeks back, I said, historically speaking, whenever the interest rates are lowered, you see about a 13% return in the S&P 12 months after.
Okay.
But if that interest rate reduction occurs outside of a recession, the average is right around 18%. And 12 months ago was our first rate cut outside of a recession, and the S&P is up over 17%.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So we just had another rate cut and another rate cut. So that tells me that 2026 could be another good year in the stock market.
I like to hear that. So, I mean, 2026, I can't believe it's here. What do we need to do to really, I guess, seize the day with our finances?
Well, I mean, start saving if you haven't started saving. You really have to start putting the money away. I love living life, Doug. I love enjoying the finer things in life. So the only way that I save money is if I pay myself first.
Okay, explain that.
So I don't allow the money that I want to save to ever come into my checking account.
All right.
So all of my savings come out before I receive my money. So if I'm going to put money in a Roth IRA, if I'm going to put money in a 401k, if I'm going to put money in a whatever policy, whatever it may be, I make sure that that all gets taken out of my paycheck. It gets taken out of my revenue.
Gotcha.
And I never see that money. So I pay myself first. I don't pay my mortgage first. I don't pay my credit. I pay myself first. Now, I know that I have enough money left over afterwards to pay my other bills. That's not the point. The point is, if you're hoping that you're going to put the money in your checking account and then you're going to live your life and then you're going to go at the end of the month and go, oh, what do I have left over to save? You're not going to be as successful at saving as you are having it come out ahead of time and then making do with what's left over. And I'll tell you, I mean, I learned a lesson. I wasn't the best saver early in life. I really wish I would have been. I went through a nasty divorce when I was in my 30s.
Right.
Completely wiped out.
Whew.
I mean, everything that I had saved was gone at 35 to pay off the divorce.
Right.
So I had to rebuild from 35. And I did what I tell my clients. I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to put money in my deferred compensation. I'm going to put money in my 401k. I'm going to save first. And I've been able to rebuild that savings. So let's talk about how you can save.
All right.
So every year, well, most of the years, the federal government raises the amount that you're allowed to save, which is nice. So Roth IRAs and IRAs are now $7,500 a year.
Okay.
Meaning you can put away $7,500 a year. If you're over age 50, you can add an extra $1,100 to that, and now that's $8,600 a year you can save in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. And if you watch this show, you know I'm never going to tell you to put it in a traditional IRA. I'm going to tell you to put it in a Roth. You know why?
Okay, I'm just
because I know because I want you to pay less taxes in the future. I don't mind you paying the tax now, because right now taxes are at their lowest point ever. Today, right now, lowest point we've ever seen taxes. So if you're going to save money and taxes are low, why wouldn't you pay taxes when they're low and then get the money tax-free? That's why you put money in a Roth IRA. I don't care if you make $30,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $1 million a year, $5 million a year, put the money in a Roth. Pay the taxes now, never pay taxes again. But let's run some numbers, shall we?
Let's run the numbers. Yeah, what do you got?
So let's do two different scenarios here. Let's say you have a 30-year-old. We're gonna go off a 30-year-old because I'm going to assume that a lot of people when they start out they can't save as much. But let's say at 30 you might be able to start saving. Hey, if you can. My son, when he turned 18, he got his first job. I said, you're going to open up a 401k and you're going to save 10% and you're going to figure out how to live with the rest. And he did it. And he's 25 now. He's been saving for 7 years. And he learned, to live with what's left over. It's the best way to do it. Pay yourself first. So let's say you're 30 and you're going to save $7,000 into a Roth. Do you think it makes a difference, Doug, when you save that money?
Initially, I don't think it does.
Well, actually it does.
Oh.
So let's say you're 30, okay, and you're gonna save for 35 years. We're gonna retire at 65.
All right.
And it's gonna grow at 8%. Not saying you can get an 8% return. I'm just using 8% as an average. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you put that $7,000 away at the end of the year versus putting that $7,000 away at the beginning of the year, there's a difference.
Okay.
So a 30-year-old saving $7,000 a year, putting it away in December at 8%, that grows to $1.2 million. But if they would have put that money away in January, it grows to $1.3 million.
Ooh, I had no
It's an
idea.
extra $100,000 putting the money away at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year.
Jeez.
It's free extra $100,000. Someone just gave you an extra $100,000 because you decided to save at the beginning versus the end, because you have that extra entire 12 months of interest earning
Makes sense.
every single year. Of course it does.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a simple one. If you're going to save, do it right away if you can. If you can afford to. If you have, and I've told people this before,
Right.
if you have, 3 or 4 months of savings sitting in a money market account, pull $7,000 out of that, throw it in your Roth IRA. And you might think I'm crazy, but the beautiful thing about a Roth IRA is it's accessible. So if you need that money back, you can pull that money right back out of the Roth IRA. There's no tax on it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And if you don't need it and it sits in that Roth IRA, it grows tax-free. So it's January. If you're watching this, it's January of 2026 or it's later. Put the money in your Roth IRA now. Do it now. Don't wait until December. Get yourself an extra few $100,000 in retirement. But there's more.
Oh.
Let's say you work for a 401k. Well, you work for a company that offers a 401k. Okay?
I gotcha.
And a lot of 401ks offer matches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I let's just say they offer a 4% match, whether they do 100% up to 4%, or a lot of companies will do 100% up to 3%, then 50% up to 5%, which equals 4%. So let's say you have a person, again, a 30-year-old, and let's say they're making 80 grand a year.
Okay.
I'm just pulling a number out of my hat here. If they get that 4% match, that free match, that's free money. That means they put away 4%, the company gave them 4%. And let's say they never get a pay raise for the rest of their life, okay? Let's say they stay at $80,000 forever, which is stupid. I know it's not going to happen, but let's just say that.
Hypothetically.
That 4% match over 35 years at 8%, that's $600,000 of free money, Doug.
Whew. I like that.
Now, if they get a 3% pay raise, so every year they get a pay raise, they go up in earnings, that's $899,000 or $900,000 of free money. But in order to get that match, they have to put their 4% in, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get a match.
Sure.
So if you have this person making $80,000, they put in their 4%. The company matches 4%. They do it from age 30 to age 65. That's $1.7 or $1,698,000 in your 401k.
And that's just your 401k. We're not considering any other finances.
No. And of that $1,698,000, half of it, $900,000, was free money from your company.
Love it.
Free money. But let's take it a step further.
Oh.
Take those two 30-year-olds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One of them doesn't watch my show and puts it in a traditional 401k. The other one watches my show and puts it in a Roth 401k.
Mm-hmm.
They go until age 65, they retire, they live until 90, okay? What do you think the tax savings is on the one that put it in the Roth versus the traditional?
Oh boy, over that many years, I mean, probably a couple million.
$1,734,471 of tax savings.
That's good math right there.
$1.7 million of tax savings simply by doing the Roth 401k over the traditional 401k. That's wild.
That is
And
wild.
I'm not talking about somebody who's making millions of dollars. This is a person who's making $80,000 a year. Now, if you're making $80,000 and your spouse is making $80,000, we're talking about twice the amount of tax savings. And if you're putting away 4% and they're putting away 4%, we're talking about $3.4 million in retirement savings, $1.7 million in free matches from your company. And that's just doing 4% of your pay. That's not doing 10% like I recommend.
I mean, only 4% of your pay. That's nothing.
That's it. That's not a large amount.
No.
And that's at age 30. You start at age 20, the numbers get astronomically bigger. So this isn't rocket science. The rocket science comes into when you've done it wrong your whole life. That's when the rocket science comes in. That's when you come to me. Like I had a gentleman off of my television show yesterday. I just met with somebody via Zoom, a retired Army captain, amazing guy. I spent 20 plus years in service of our country, which I gave 4 years, but for someone to give 25 years, that's incredible to me. So hats off to this individual for doing that. And he put his money in traditional 401ks, IRAs, because he wasn't told any different. And now he and his wife are sitting and so this individual, he has a military pension. Then he went to work as a teacher.
There's another
after he retired, and now he has a teacher's pension. So he has two pensions and he has Social Security. So all this money he saved in his IRAs, he doesn't need. But what's going to happen at age 73, age 75?
Yeah, he's got to
the
start
IRS
taking it
is
out.
going to start forcing those distributions.
Yep.
So he's going to be penalized, massively penalized. His taxes are going to go up and up and up. It threw him into like the 24% tax bracket from the 12% tax bracket all the way up to the 24% tax bracket simply because of the IRA required distributions. And I ran the numbers for him. I showed him that we could save him a couple $100,000 in taxes and increase his estate by a few $1 million by doing Roth conversions. Again, this is all because of the software that I built, Doug. The software that I spent the last 7 years, I can run these numbers. I can come up with these figures and show you mathematically. And he said, he looked at me, he's like, I knew the Roth was better, but I thought because I had already done it, it was too late. And every advisor I talked to just told me, don't bother because, it doesn't matter. And he said, I've talked to 4 or 5 advisors and you're the first person I've talked to who knew more than I did and actually is making sense to me. You're actually preaching, information and numbers, and I'm a numbers guy, and it actually makes sense to me. And that's why I love what I do, because we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just saying there's 2 options. Option 1, you pay taxes. Option 2, you pay less taxes. Which one do you want, Doug?
Of course, pay the less taxes.
This isn't difficult. Less taxes or more taxes. And if I'm wrong and taxes go up, you're even in a better situation because you're paying even less taxes. If taxes stay the same and they never go up, you're in a good position because you save money. But if they raise taxes in the future and you've already done this planning, you've already done the conversions, you've already put the money away tax-free, oh my gosh, the savings could become astronomically bigger. And when we're looking at $32 trillion in debt, and we're looking at the ability for this country to swing from, hey, we care about people who make money to we don't care about people who make money. That's what happens in this country. Everything's a pendulum. And we go from the left to the right, back to the left again, back to the right again. And we go from, worrying about the wealthy to not worrying about the wealthy. So there's a possibility, Doug. I mean, don't you think there's a possibility taxes could go up in the future?
I would pretty much guarantee that. That's just my opinion.
But when I run the numbers, I don't assume taxes are going up. So all the numbers that I show people, the tax savings that I show people are assuming taxes stay the same. And it's still a massive tax savings. That 1.7 million for that 30-year-old was assuming taxes never go up. If taxes go up, that could be 2 million of savings, 2.5 million of savings, just by putting the money into the tax-free investment versus a tax-deferred investment.
You know, hey, Joe, I wanted to say this, though. Signing up for a 401k, because I've had to do that recently, and the options on it are just confusing, and I needed help from somebody to put it together. So, but I feel like you got to get it right the first time when you're signing up for it for the first time.
And what's amazing is people don't even realize that they have a Roth option. There was an individual in my office just the other day, and she said, you know, I've worked for this company for 20 years, and I didn't even know that I had a Roth 401k option. I just thought I had a 401k option. So when you sign up for your 401k, when you go through the options, I can almost guarantee you they're going to give you a traditional 401k option or a Roth 401k option. They're going to have both. And the reason is, Doug, and this is something new for 2026, so we should talk about this as well. Okay. If you're over 50, so looking at 401ks, let's talk about 401k max contributions, shall we? Excellent.
Perfect.
Leeway into
Let's do
that.
it.
This is perfect. So in 2026, the most you can put into a 401k now is $24,500 if you're under age 50.
Okay.
If you're over age 50, you can do an $8,000 catch-up contribution. So you can do $32,500.
That's great.
But in the government's infinite wisdom, which this makes absolutely no sense to me, if you're age 60, 61, 62, or 63, just those 4 years, 60 through 63, you can do an $11,250 catch-up contribution. But when you hit 64, you got to go back to the $8,000.
What?
Can you explain that to me?
Well, no, I want you to explain that to me.
So when you get to 50, you can do 8,000. When you get to 60, you can do 11,250. But when you get to 64, you got to go back to 8,000 for some reason. Who thought that 60 to 63 were the years to put extra money away? It makes no sense to me. So the new rule though on that. So if you're over 50 and you want to do a catch-up contribution, if you individually in 2025 at that same company made over 150,000. So I'll say that again.
Okay.
If you're over 50 and you want to do catch-up contributions into your 401k, your 403b, your 457, whatever it is, if you worked for that same company the previous year and you made over $150,000, the IRS requires that your catch-up contributions are Roth contributions.
Okay. Why is that?
I think it's because they want you to pay taxes on that money now.
Of course. Okay.
Which I want you to pay taxes on that money now. So I'm glad the government's doing this. So for every naysayer out there who goes, well, Joe, they're all Roth IRAs so good, the government's going to get rid of it. The government's requiring you to use it. They're not going to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. If they're requiring you to do it, they like it. So again, $150,000. Now, if you worked for a different company, it doesn't count. So it's only the 401k you're contributing. Did you make $150,000 or more the previous year at that same employer? You have to do Roth catch-up contributions. These rules are so stupid. Whoever came up with these rules they're just ignorant, if you ask me, but that's the way it works.
All right.
So I like that the government's forcing you to do this. Since the government's forcing you to do this, this means that the 401k has to have a Roth option. So more than likely your 401k will have a Roth option. Going back to what you said, Doug, mm-hmm. You probably have that option. So when you log in to your 401k and you go to your contributions, look for traditional and Roth and choose the Roth.
All right.
Just put 100% in the Roth.
So
100% of whatever you're going to put away.
So why would I do the traditional one then? Is there any upside to that?
If you are a person who likes instant gratification and you want to save taxes now and you don't care about the future, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're like, you know what, Joe, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to be dead and I just want to save taxes now, go ahead. Do it. But then you're going to leave that money to your spouse. If you're married, they're going to have to pay taxes on it. You're going to leave it to your kids. Yeah. They're going to have to pay taxes on it. Someone's going to pay taxes on it. So I don't see the benefit. And I've run scenarios 20 years old, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds. I've run scenarios making 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, $1 million a year, 2 million a year. And it always makes sense to pay the taxes now and never pay the taxes again, especially if you're worried about your heirs. So that's what this individual, this retired military officer, he said, Joe, I have this retirement savings that my wife and I were not going to touch. I have 2 sons. I want to make sure that they get that money. Well, if they get the IRA, they're going to have to pay taxes on it. So for 10 years, when they inherit that IRA, they have to take taxable distribution. And then in the 10th year, they have to take it all out and they get to pay taxes on it. If it's a Roth, it gets to grow tax-free for 10 years. So it's just better and better and better. The Roth is the better option. Hands down, if you ask me professionally, it's the better option. If you're unsure, if you're watching this and you're going, well, I hear what you're saying, Joe, but I don't know if that makes sense for me. Simply, call the phone number, click the QR code, set up a meeting like that gentleman that I was telling you about did. We do a Zoom, I run the numbers for you, and I show you, boom, it makes more sense. Hey, I can save you $200,000. I can increase your estate by $2 or $3 million simply by doing Roth conversions. Or simply by showing you a better way to save if you're younger. It works, Doug. It really does.
It just sounds like that the Roth is possibly the best thing you can do to save money.
Yeah. If you ask me, 100%, It's the best thing you can do to save money. But there's one more Roth option we can talk about, and this is my favorite one. So we'll say there's 2 more. If you make too much money, you're not allowed to put money into a Roth IRA. I don't know if you knew that. So they have income limits. We'll throw the income limits up on the screen here for you. Single, there's the single, and then married, there's the married. If you make more than that, you're not allowed to put money into a Roth IRA, okay? So what you do is you do a backdoor Roth IRA where you put money into a non-deductible IRA and then you convert it to a Roth IRA, and then you basically have made a contribution. And what really stinks is the government knows they have this loophole and they just don't care. They just don't care. The Roth is the better option, in my opinion, hands down.
So, Joe, this is what I'm getting out of this is, of course, Roth is saving you a whole lot of money on taxes, but you just talked about the backdoor Roth.
Yes.
But I would assume that most people do not know about that because this is the first time I have heard about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought everybody knew about the backdoor Roth.
No.
Yeah. So anybody, no matter how much money you can make, you can do a Roth IRA. If you want to learn more about that, again, reach out to us. We'll show you how to do the backdoor Roth. But there's an even better one called a mega Roth IRA, a mega Roth. So the mega Roth says that you can put money away into your 401k, make it a Roth 401k, and if you're over age 50, you can do $80,000 a year. If you're age 60 to 63, you can do $83,250 a year into your mega Roth 401k.
All right.
Now, it gets a little complicated.
Yeah.
Your company has to offer after-tax contributions. And so what you do is you max out your $24,000, you max out your catch-up contribution, you get your company's match, and then you figure out, once you've done your max contribution, your catch-up contribution, and your company's match, you're allowed to put up to that $80,000, or if you're under 50, $72,000, and you do that as an after-tax contribution, and then you convert it every single month. So that's what I do in my 401k. I do a mega Roth 401k, and I max out my traditional contribution. I get my company's match. I do my catch up because I just turned 50, and then I do my after tax, and I can put up to $80,000 a year into my Roth 401k. It's wild, wild.
That's mega wild.
So if you want to learn more about that, reach out to us. There's a lot of rules and regulations inside the 401k about who can do that and who can't do that. And can we talk to your 401k provider about adding after-tax contributions? But if you can do it, just think how much money you could save, Doug, if you could put away $83,000 a year into your Roth, and all of it's tax-free.
That Why not? Why not? I just get the feeling that people don't really dive in too deeply to really figure this out. And that's why you're here. That's why we're doing this show.
That's why you check in every week. This is what we're going to be talking about, information about your retirement, and we're going to time it to timely events that are going on in the world. It's beginning of the year. You have to start doing this. Sit down. As soon as this program's over, sit down and figure out, what are you going to do? Are you going to do the Roth IRA? Are you going to do the Roth 401k? You're going to log into your 401k. You're going to give yourself a raise, maybe. I call it a retirement raise. As soon as your employer says, hey, here's your raise for the year, we're going to give you a 2% or a 3% raise, I want you to log into your 401k and give yourself a retirement raise and increase your contributions. So as you earn more money, you contribute more, and your retirement will be much easier, especially if it's all tax-free.
But what do you think about taking care of this now instead of procrastinating for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months?
Do it now. Why would you wait? We just showed you that at $7,000 a year, it's an extra $100,000 if you put the money away at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. So don't wait on this, and pay yourself first, as we said at the beginning of the show. Make sure that money's coming out before you get a chance to spend it, so that you're forcing yourself to save. I did it just yesterday. I logged into my 401k. I calculated out what my contribution is every 2 weeks. To max out my $32,500, I had to do $1,250 every 2 weeks. I did that. Then I calculated what my after-tax contribution was. I went in there, I upped that, and I did it yesterday for myself on my 401k to make sure I'll save money. You should do the same thing, and retirement is going to be a breeze.
I like that. Retirement is a breeze. So take care of it now. Take care of your 401k. I mean, to me, it's a little bit confusing, but you cleared a whole lot of issues that I was having with the 401k and the savings you talked about. I mean, the mega Roth contribution, I wasn't familiar with that. So
the backdoor Roth contribution, I mean, they're all out there. And again, if you're unfamiliar, number one, watch our show every week. We'll be educating you, free education. Come right to us, certified financial planner, giving you free financial advice. If you want to take it a step further, call us, scan that QR code, go to www.sequinox.com, get yourself an appointment. I don't care where you are in America. You can get a Zoom with one of my certified financial planners, and we can walk you through this. We'll do a free financial plan for you. We'll do it right there in the meeting, and we'll show you how much tax we can save you. We'll show you how you can retire, how much income you can have in retirement. We're going to make it simple for you. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can hire us to do it for you. That's what we do. We are advisors. We're planners. We do this for people every single day. I've been doing this for 30 years. Sequinox turns 26 years old in January. We're here for you, but you have to take the first step, which is call the number, scan the code, go on to www.sequinox.com, make that appointment so that we can show you exactly how to retire with more income, with less taxes, and how to create multi-generational wealth. It's up to you. Listening is one thing. Taking action is a whole nother one. So make sure you reach out to us. If you haven't done it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, so that you can see these videos every week. We post videos. We post 5-minute videos about financial planning. We post little short videos about economic updates. And then we do this roughly 1 hour podcast every week to keep you informed. So you hit that subscribe button, you hit that notification bell, and every time we're posting, YouTube is letting you know, hey, new video, make sure you watch. Free education. You can learn more about the best ways to manage your money, get that retirement, maybe make it a tax-free retirement, and just cut through the BS of what you're seeing on the media. Check back here. Doug and I will be here every week. We enjoy making these videos for you. And as always, we'll see you next time.